Why, hello there. Are you ready for some hot king-on-king action? Well, lukewarm at best. Don't get too excited.
Hello, good evening, and welcome. My name is Michael Paul King, and this is my YouTube channel, currently called, what should I name this YouTube channel? We'll get into that later. And this is the first in a series of videos I'm choosing to call King on King, episode 0000, in that it's kind of a pre-episode, as it's sort of an intro. Now, lest you think that I am planning to do a series of videos where I interview myself, rest assured, I'm not. One of me is already too much. So I've been told by many people, many times. Instead, what it's going to be is a series of videos exploring every single thing that Stephen King has written that I can get my hands on in roughly the chronological order that he wrote it, more or less. Kinda. Let me explain why I want to do this. I am not a huge Stephen King fanboy or nerd, but I do enjoy Stephen King's work. Not just the writing, but also the discipline and the craft that he puts into it. I read a few Stephen Kings in high school and in college, but not too many. I think I read The Stand twice. But then about 15 years ago, I read his nonfiction book, On Writing. I was a writer at the time, writing for TV and writing movie scripts, and it was just absolutely one of the best books about the craft and the story of the man behind the craft. I was really blown away. And at that point, I thought, I'm going to read every novel by this guy, but I want to read it in the order that he wrote them, so I get a real sense of the evolution of his art and his craft. Pretty cool idea, right? I think I got to Salem's Lot, which is, I think, his second novel. I was a new father, things got off the rails, that's all you need to know. Then, in early 2020, something happened.
A mysterious new virus.
Coronavirus.
The coronavirus presents a public health emergency in the United States.
COVID-19.
More than 3 billion people in almost 70 countries and territories have been asked to stay at home.
And we were all kind of stuck at home for an extended period of time, looking for things to do, things to augment our day-to-day. For whatever reason, my thoughts turned back to this guy and his books, how much I've enjoyed them, and thought, hey, this would be a good time to do this. But I don't want to just do his novels. I also want to read his short stories and anything else I can get my hands on, including his nonfiction work. And I want to do it in the chronological order that he wrote it, because that's stupid. So that's what I did, or tried to do. Unlike many of the other sort of COVID-era pandemic hobbies that I tried to take on, like this hydroponic garden system, this one stuck, and I have slowly but surely been working my way through his catalog of short stories, nonfiction, the novels, of course, and even some screenplays as I get to them. But as this is coinciding with me starting up a YouTube channel, I thought, hey, this might be a fun thing to do every so often. Little by little, dole out these videos of all the books that I've read by the guy, all the short stories, many of which a lot of you haven't read. Just maybe kind of as an ongoing compendium of all that reading for myself as much as for you guys. I'll include brief, spoiler-free synopses of each story or book, and my kind of personal opinion and take on them, as well as where you can get your hands on them if they're maybe a little harder to find. But that's the basic idea. As of this taping, I've just finished reading the book The Talisman. Now you may be saying to yourself, Michael, the pandemic was 2019. You started with Carrie, which he wrote in 1974, and you've only made it 10 years? Dude, it's 2023. Yes, but, well, I've only covered 10 years of his novels and the years preceding Carrie, because he wrote quite a few short stories before that. I've been going slowly but surely through this gentleman's bibliography as best I can, and let me tell you, it's a huge amount. It's a huge amount of material already, and I'm only up to 1984. So I can keep dropping videos ever so often and probably retire and keep doing this and not be finished. So the very next video that I post in this series will be number 1, and it will feature a short story that he wrote when he was very young. It is the oldest example of his work that, as far as we know, we can get our hands on. The name of the short story is Johannathan and the Witches, and it was written by Stephen King when he was 9 years old. Stay tuned. Anyway, take care, and hey, you know what? Why don't you like this video? And subscribe. Isn't that what you're supposed to say? Like and subscribe? Yeah, maybe I'll set up a Patreon. Or maybe you could do that buy me a coffee thing. Yeah? I'll do that. You guys could buy me a coffee. I like coffee.